painting was sold by the Gestapo to another leading Nazi who was at that time the governor of Vienna, a man named Baldur von Schirach, who, among other things, his mother was American and descended from, I believe, 2 signers of the Declaration of Independence. Very cultivated man, and was the man most responsible for the deportation of the Jews of Vienna to the camps. He was quite proud of that fact. So we're talking a deeply evil individual. A little bit later on, a transcript of the interrogation of Baldur von Schirach after the war in preparation for his trial at Nuremberg. He was in the docket with the other major Nazis, including Goering. The photos of the Nuremberg trial have Goering down the lower left, and Baldur von Schirach is in the same docket. And there are several pages of the interrogation in which the interrogators are talking about the Cranach. It's amazing that it's a focus of their attention to him, and he is not denying that he had a Cranach, but he's saying it's not the von Gumpert's Cranach. That's where the trail sort of died. The Hainisch sisters, who were the heirs, that they were able to track the painting from its seizure and the Gestapo, and then to Baldur von Schirach, but then it disappeared. But then they found it, or they thought they found it on the website here. And what we had was a New York gallery, art gallery prospectus. We didn't know the gallery, but it was from the early 1950s, so we had a gap of about 5-7 years. And this is where art history comes in, because Lucas Cranach is known to have painted several versions of that. It must have been a bread and butter picture for him, fairly easy to produce. Some of them may have been done by his studio assistants. But in any case, there are several known versions of the picture. And so we had to be sure that the von Gumpert's Madonna and Child in a Landscape was our Madonna and Child in a Landscape. And that was very difficult to convey to the family without us seeming like we're splitting hairs. We're trying to stonewall, when to them it was obvious. This is our picture, and they were quite impatient to have it returned. I made several trips to New York to sit down with Monica, to partly just to convince her of our sincerity and good faith, that we were trying to do the right thing, that we sometimes made mistakes of sort of misunderstanding on both sides, misunderstanding, and that we were sort of groping towards a solution, but that there was always the desire on our part to do it right. We just had to figure out what right was. This whole thing began in March of 1999. As we moved into the fall, it was getting pretty obvious, to me at least, that the painting was in fact stolen, and that we needed to start looking at the end game. While we're still pursuing those final pieces of documentation, we needed to also consider is there a way for the painting to stay in Raleigh honorably?